All right. Welcome to Toronet, where your tech career awaits. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are going to get started because we have some amazing speakers. So let's talk a little bit about Toronet. What is Toronet? So Toronet is a virtual platform that democratizes career resources in tech for college students. Our mission is to promote diversity in tech by providing resources, education, and coaching to diverse. Oh, you can't hear anything? Okay. Everyone else can hear me, right? Cassidy is having a problem. Is it Cassidy? Or, but everyone else can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Bessie's again.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll move forward. Okay, so our mission is to promote diversity in tech by providing resources, education, and coaching to diverse communities. And we do this by providing a consistent virtual platform for tech leaders and professionals to educate our attendees remotely nationwide. And every Friday, we meet at 12 noon Central Standard Time to learn from speakers, ask questions, and to share career opportunities. So did you know that 1 to 5% of big tech employees are Black and only 15% are women? What? Those are some things that people don't know, and this is why we're doing what we're doing. Toronet partners with educational institutions and nonprofits to lower barriers of access to opportunities and education for non-technical and technical careers in the tech industry. So again, this is for non-technical and technical students. So if you have a career goal, it doesn't necessarily have to change to a technical career, a technical job or education in order for you to work in tech. You just simply need to find out how you can have access to a tech company. And we're going to teach you about that. This is sponsored or powered by LeBeau Labs, my company, a marketing agency based out of Dallas, and also Advancing the Seed nonprofit in California. So remember, we're always looking for speakers. So if you are watching and you are a speaker on personal development, technology, or career development, or career in tech in general, we definitely would love to hear from you. In order to apply, you go to lebeauproductions.com/Toronet. Or if you want to suggest a speaker, let them know that they can go to that website. And if you want to enroll to be a part of this program, it's free, open to the public. Go to lebeauproductions.com/Toronet and you'll learn how to do that. All right, so I can't take too much time because we have two speakers today, but I just wanted to, you could just click through, Amy, to show our wonderful mentors and contributors to this platform. These are the folks working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly, and we're very appreciative. So today we're going to be hearing from Dr. Tyson McMillan, and then we'll have a Q&A. And we'll also hear from Wahiba Belakhuoa. Am I saying that right? Belakhuoa?
Yes, you did.
All right. That's like the third time this week. Third time this week I got like first time getting somebody's name right. So awesome for me. Yay. All right. Then we'll have a Q&A. And then after that, we'll talk about tech job postings, some free resources, some updates that you should know about. We're going to give you an opportunity to connect, and then we'll follow up with the conclusion. But just to let you know, we're going to give about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the speaker, and then we'll go into some Q&A. So first up, we have Dr. Tyson McMillan. So Dr. Tyson McMillan is a professor who recently celebrated 11 years of teaching experience as a full-time college instructor. He has received numerous awards for his abilities that has earned him a department chair position. Dr. Tyson spends most of his time working with his nonprofit organization, Toronet, while helping his students achieve success. His organization works tirelessly in order to bring big tech's attention to community college students whose talents are overlooked. And he does so much more. And I just want to say he's a heck of a guy. very has so much integrity and such a helpful, humble spirit that I really appreciate. And I'm sure like everybody who knows Dr. T can say the same thing. So today, let's go to the next slide. Dr. T is going to talk to us about what my business degree did not teach me about running a business. So with that, I'm going to be quiet and let Dr. T take it away.
Wow. What a wonderful introduction, LeBeau. I don't know how to get started after that, but I thank you. And I thank you for the humble honor of being a teacher and presenting today. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, LeBeau Labs. Thank you, all the folks that are here under the sound of my voice who will be watching this on YouTube later. Thank you again for being here. And also, I welcome my colleague, Wahiba, who's a McMillanite student who's taking a Dr. McMillan class. All you are McMillanites today. I knight the McMillanites. You are now my students. What I'd like to do is just share my heart, a topic that actually was one of the major topics that I suggested for this Toronet meeting. And it becomes out of a popular subject from my students. They were really asking me, Dr. T, what does your business degree teach you and what doesn't it teach you? What are some tips that have helped me when I want to run a business of my own? And through my journey of my 5 degrees, this presentation came to mind. So I won't be before you long because I want to make sure we get some great information from Wahiba as well. But let's go through my slide deck and step by step through some of the tips that I learned along the way through the school of hard knocks rather than just through the process of formal education. So what we're going to talk about today, well, 2 out of my 5 degrees come out of the School of Business, and I'm very proud of that. I love my business degrees, but when it came to running my actual businesses, there were a few kind of things that I didn't learn in formal education. I just had to kind of learn those along the way. You learn basically through practice, trial and error, and research. You're still a student even when you leave the formal education system. So that's always very important to remember. So let's talk about some of those things that my business degree or my business degrees didn't teach me. Let's take a step back though and talk about what you generally get from a bachelor's of business administration in the business core. What I love about business degrees is that they really give you a business foundation, and then you get to branch out into marketing and the computer information systems into any area of business that is of interest to you. So everybody's going to take those 2 accounting classes, LIFO, FIFO, and your accounting principles, managerial accounting, and all that good stuff. You learn about those basics of bookkeeping and all the elements there. Everybody's going to take business math. I have people smiling when I say in my 13 years of college, I've only had 2 math classes. One of them was this very tough business calculus, and the other one was college algebra. But I still know 26 different programming languages because you don't have to be a mathematician in order to be a good programmer. So that's another big misnomer that we have to kind of bring out for people who are going into the tech world. You don't have to be a mathematician to be a programmer and understand and work in the world of technology. But certainly you do need to take business math. Everybody does. Statistics. Oh, I used to think of that as like English and calculus together, all rolled together in one class. The teacher's up there talking like Charlie Brown's mom on the phone. You have no idea what's going on. You just smile and you just do your best to get through that class. That's statistics. Everybody's got to take that. You're going to take some management classes. You're going to take some principles of economics, of course, economics 2301, 2302. Hopefully some of these classes sound familiar because we do offer a lot of these courses at TCC. And guess what? They do transfer to the 4-year university at the TCC price, $64 a credit hour, versus who knows how many dollars per credit hour you're paying at a lot of these universities. But certainly everybody's got to have economics, the language of news, the language of business. Everybody's got to have economics. Everybody's got to have finance. Thank goodness, thank the Lord for that teacher of mine who helped me get through that finance class online that I took when I took 16 hours that semester, and I had 3 jobs and was commuting backwards and forward from West Texas A&M University, Amarillo to Canyon, Texas, and doing who knows what volunteering in the community. That semester was a blur, but thank goodness I got through that finance class. Very tough for me. I love my business law class. That's another great class you have to take. And then of course, another management and marketing. Can't forget about marketing. That certainly is another class. So the business core gives you a taste of all the kind of elements that you can branch into in business and gives you really good view of the structure of a corporation and these big complex entities that we run every day. So again, a big shout out to Tarrant County College. I am the Department Chair of Business and Computer Science. We, of course, can get you a lot of those classes here on the business core and that you could transfer into university. And if you're so inclined, stay with us. We get you some certificates and associate's degrees also in the business or computer science area. So email Dr. T and I'll be happy to discuss that with you and hook you up with one of our advisors in terms of helping make sure we get you on the right path. All right, to those tips. The number one tip that you should know, they talk about this in business school, but I don't think they emphasize it enough. You need a CPA. I'm telling you, I got this man on speed dial. There's so many questions related to taxes and all the stuff related to business and accounting that your CPA, a certified public accountant, a specialist in these things, is going to help you answer. So go get a CPA to consult on your taxes. Ask those questions on demand to make sure you're on the right track. That's the number one thing that you should do, and that my business degree didn't necessarily teach me. You're going to have to keep some accounting, and you're going to have to keep your personal accounts separate from your business accounts. Very, very important. You have to learn how to keep accurate books, invoices, and receipts. So they teach you how to keep ledgers and all that great stuff in the accounting classes. But this is where it becomes real, because you have to keep accurate records so that you can file those records properly with the proper agencies. So keeping accurate accounting is going to be very, very important in the business world. Protect your assets. Oh, this is important. And you hear people talk about this in theory, but then it gets real when you got your real assets you need to protect. So in the business, there's a reason why we formed the limited liability company, the LLC. There's reasons that people pursue business insurance. Look at these topics. Go study to show thyself approved. Go research these topics some more. There's this thing called an umbrella policy. We live in a very litigious society. What if there's an injury that happens that you can't cover? Umbrella policies, you should look into that as well. Protect your assets. More than what you learn in the books and on paper, very, very important for reality if you want to protect your assets for the future. Business structure, that's what we're really talking about. Do I want to be a sole proprietor versus a limited liability company, right? In particular, what are the tax implications of me being Tyson sole proprietor versus Tyson LLC owner, right? That makes a big difference in terms of your tax structure. And I see Shirley emphasizing the CPA and lawyer all guide you through the correct structure. That's right. These professionals really help you get on the right track and do it from the very, very beginning so that you're aware of these and you don't the pitfalls beforehand, right? I love learning from the voice of wisdom, to hear people who've been there tell me it so I don't have to go down the same journey of pain, right? Make it easier for those who come after me. That's one of my philosophies. All right, as we continue here. Entity election. So this is another thing you want to ask your CPA and your accountant about. What? Do I want to be taxed as an S Corp? Do I want to be taxed as a C Corp? Huh? What is that? Alphabet soup. So you need to really want to make sure that you understand the implications of that and what the rules are for meetings, forming corporate boards, whatever your structure is. And so I meant to say LLC there, but definitely indeed, you really want to speak to your CPA to help you make the best decision beforehand. Make these decisions before you form your business and then file all that important paperwork. So you see in all these businesses, you'll notice it after you actually have to file one of these applications for the Texas Secretary of State, but you notice they have this little Texas flag back there with a sales and use tax permit. Through the Texas Secretary of State, that's where you apply to where you can actually legally charge people sales tax. And then the business has to quarterly pay those taxes to the Secretary of State through various processes and procedures. Sometimes you can pay yearly if they don't think you being billed enough, but certainly the sales and use tax permit is another kind of element they don't go into a lot of detail in the business school, but it's important to know about as a business owner. I know all business owners right now looking at, we know these forms by heart. You form IRS form 940, 941. You got to file those quarterly and those yearly business taxes. So people get, usually if you're a civilian, you just used to filing your taxes once a year. Oh no, you're filing your taxes at least quarterly as a business owner, and particularly as an LLC owner, because you have to pay yourself what the tax law calls a reasonable salary. And so if you're paying a reasonable salary, you got to be paying those federal income tax, your Social Security tax, your Medicare tax. All these are very, very important. So ask your CPA and that lawyer about these very, very important IRS forms. Oh, this is an interesting story of mine, how I found out by accident about the Texas Workforce Commission. So I filed all my forms with the IRS. I did my quarterly taxes. I had my first year of my business going quite well. So I got a call from the Texas Workforce Commission saying, I see you paid yourself a salary, but you didn't pay us X amount, a percentage of that salary. So what's up? You owe us some money. Oh, I got to pay you too. I didn't know. They didn't teach me that in business school. I mean, I didn't know I had to pay you too. But know who they are. Know that there's a quarterly insurance that has to be paid with the Texas Workforce Commission. And there's a form, an online form to submit to do that work as well. These government systems are linked, folks. Make no mistake. When you file it with one system, the databases can talk to each other. They know if you're following proper procedures. You may not know, but the systems and the government knows, so you have to inform yourself. That's why I'm putting it on your radar. Go put the Texas Workforce Commission on your radar and be proper in paying those necessary taxes to them. I learned about this because I love 1099 contract work. And this is one of the things my CPA informed me about, paying estimated tax. So if you know that you're going to have on average a year a certain amount of 1099 contract work, particularly if you're a sole proprietor, you can pay estimated tax to kind of get ahead of that tax burden and make sure you don't have penalties. And so ask about that, paying estimated tax ahead of time. So when to send a 1099, they used to call it miscellaneous, but it's now called non-employee compensation, the 1099 EC. So I had to call my CPA. I said, look, I had a subcontractor. This year I paid them over $600. Do I need to file a 1099 form? Yes, you do. And thank goodness there are websites that help streamline that and make it happen. But I'm now going to be good and proper when I go file my taxes in a few weeks. I'm going to say, hey, this is the contractor I use. Here's the proper. I've reported it to the IRS, and we got our ducks in a row. So know to ask certain questions like that as well when you're paying and you get someone to do work for you. Building relationships. Sometimes it takes time to build relationships, and guess what? You don't always get the business even after all that work and of things. But it's about, like LeBeau said, having integrity, working with people, being honest with people, upfront with people. And the great thing about being a business owner, it's not all about the negative things I didn't know. I love the flexibility of time. I get to work with who I want to. I set my own schedule. There are a whole bunch of great benefits, but you really still do need to be informed because we're still learning as we go. It's on you. When you're the business owner, no one's going to do the work for you. You have to get up to get the results. Sometimes the work doesn't produce results, but every experience is a learning experience. But do know that each morning you wake up, it's you driving yourself to continue to go what your hearts and dreams are about. So you'll see fruit, but sometimes it takes a while before you see those results. Just hang in there and keep going at it. Know that you have a great network, especially here in the Fort Worth area, DFW area, of business owners who can help encourage you along the way. This is just my personal opinion that I've seen. I've seen that family and business don't mix well. This is just my personal opinion. Maybe others feel the same. Whenever I hear, let me hire my cousin to do ABC, it has not ended well in my experience, right? For various reasons. But be willing to write a contract even among friends. So this is one thing that I've learned as well, to just know that everybody's on the same page, what the expectations are. And so dot your I's and cross your T's in that regard. So that's what makes it more difficult to do business with family, because it's a little bit awkward to be writing a contract with mama or something like that. So you have to kind of just know the business and personal intersections are real difficult to deal with. As Eddie Reyes said, I'm sure someone else has this quote, but Eddie Reyes said, your network helps determine your net worth, right? And so I really believe in that. You network, and so you're going to ultimately build up your wealth with truth and integrity, of course, along the way. And I highly encourage you, if you are to register as a women or minority-owned business, if you're so inclined. a certain percentage of business, particularly at public institutions like TCC, University of North Texas, the people who do the highway work, all government entities must have a certain percentage of women and minority-owned businesses. Why shouldn't it be your company, your business? Sometimes people partner with women and minority-owned businesses in order to do bigger contracts. Why can't you be that person that they partner with? So that's another kind of piece of networking knowledge that'll help you as you're seeking to grow your business, perhaps. In summary, because I want to make sure we get on to Wahiba and be able to, you can ask any questions of me that you like. Running the business is fun and rewarding, but you know what? I love my independence. That's why I love having a business of my own and being able to be an independent contractor. I love it. It's a rewarding experience, but it requires work, risk, and reward. It's worth it, but you have to do the research. You have to be informed. You have to get up each day and do your best to just represent yourself with true integrity and ethics in everything you do. A formal degree can only teach you so much. Continue to be a student to understand your businesses, your customer base, and the applicable law that resides around the business that you do. And so, folks, I thank you for your kind time and attention, allowing me to share my heart. And I'm ready to answer questions now, or if so inclined, LeBeau, I can answer questions later, but put some questions in the chat, but also get ready to ask any questions you have. And I'm a teacher, I love questions, so ask away as your heart is content. But LeBeau, I'll turn it back over to you, and thank you all for your kind time and attention.
Woo-hoo. Thank you, Dr. T. That was a great presentation, and you all can begin putting questions and comments. I know that Shirley just said, she was making a couple of comments. She said the CPA will also help you determine the correct structure for your business, sole proprietor, LLC, and all of that. And a CPA and a lawyer together can guide you on the correct structure. And then veterans and disabled veterans, LGBTQ, also qualify for diverse business types. And so Dr. T was touching on that, becoming certified as a woman-owned small business. I've done that. I haven't fully taken advantage of having that status, but it's true. So while you all are thinking of comments and questions, I have some of my own. So here's one question. Why doesn't the things that you discussed, we all know that those things come up in business. Why doesn't the Board of Education or whoever's over college curriculum insert that into the curriculum?
It's a great point, LeBeau. I think sometimes we can be so academically minded that we have no practical skills, or we lose them or forget about it. And so that's why I think it's very, very important that we also have a sense of the community. Now, the community college is a little bit different. So teachers, work closely with the community. But if I'm focusing so much on research and the theory of a business, that's a little bit different when you have a customer who's unsatisfied. The book doesn't teach you how to deal with a lot of these. And so I tell my students sometimes the book doesn't have all the answers, right? And so it's critical thinking, it's troubleshooting, there's a lot of other elements that can't be taught. I think that's part of it. And certainly we teachers also have to learn to be able to teach it better. And so we definitely have some room for improvement in academia in that regard, to make it a richer experience for our students.
Speaking of book, this could be a book, honestly. You touched the tip of the iceberg, but what my business degree didn't teach me about business could be a book. But I love how you said that you're always a student. That is so true. I always tell people, anytime I got a certification for anything, I always would say, is this it? Like, is this all? Because you always need more and more and more. And so if people understand that, even when you get a degree, that's the beginning of learning. That's the essentials. Now the learning journey really begins, because now you're outside of the classroom and you have to apply. You have to learn from experience how to apply properly what you learned in class. So another question is, why don't colleges provide like an incubator or accelerator programs? And do you see that happening in the future?
You got it. To your first point, I look at knowledge as the ocean. And I say, even with my doctorate, my knowledge is but just a drop in the ocean. So there's so much I don't know. And that makes me happy too, because there's so much I can learn. But to that point, I think we're doing more of that, more incubators, more of these things, more learning how to partner with business and industry better. academia has its politics, has its red tape, to be honest with you. And we had to figure out how to navigate that and really kind of connect with the business industry. So it's not impossible, but we can do better at it. And each day I'm striving to do that in my roles to help bridge academia and the business world, because I am both. You know, I love being an academic. I love being an independent contractor. And I love the ability to help bridge it for the benefit of my students, especially because everything I do is about, oh man, I learned something. Now I can go teach it. And now I teach it to other people. Oh, I'm happy now. I'm happy there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I understand where you're coming from. So Isaac said, what was your first business and what motivated you to start it?
You got it. Back in 2007, just after my grandfather passed away, Papa, I loved him so much. And so, I said, life is so short. I've had this inspiration to start my business doing web development. Let me just start my business. So I had heard about forming an LLC. So I just went to a website, LegalZoom. I don't work for them, anything like that, but they helped take care of me. And I just put in details about an LLC. I made the mistake of saying, you know what, I want an LLC and let me be taxed as a sole proprietor. I just defeated the whole purpose of like tax ability. But thank goodness my CPA told me, hey, you can change your entity election later on. So, but I just threw it all in and I didn't make any, I had that business for about 9 years, didn't make much profit, but I found myself having a fun time teaching. After I built the websites for people, I taught them how to use it. And that was the fun part of it for me. And so that's what I still enjoy today. So I say, I'm an educator. Maybe I'm in the business of education. So let me close that business and think about really positioning myself for other businesses. So that's how that first business started, inspired by Papa to go forth and pursue my dreams.
Wonderful. Do we have any last questions or comments for Dr. T before we go over to Wahiba? And I'm definitely going to share this conversation with 1 Million Cups community because I think so many people need it. I'm going to be sharing. But if there aren't any other questions.
I just want to make a couple of comments. I definitely thank Dr. T for this presentation because it is inclusive of pretty much everything a startup needs to know about getting started with their business. And I still come across people that didn't do it right up front, and they sometimes are embarrassed to ask for help or even acknowledge that they don't know. But we need to be comfortable with reaching out and taking advantage of the services and resources that's available to help us so that we don't have any missteps on the front end. So thanks again for the presentation.
My pleasure. And thank you for those comments, Shirley. Excellent wisdom indeed. All right, LeBeau, back to you.
Yeah. All right, perfect. All right, thank you, Dr. T, for that great presentation. And now we're going to go back to our original slide. I believe that, I actually believe that Amy had to jump off. So let me go and grab that slide. And while I'm doing this, Dr. T, you can get Wahiba's slide geared up to get ready, but I'm gonna switch off really fast. Make sure I get to her bio. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. All right, and let me know if you can see that. Can you see? All right. Okay, y'all can see my screen, Dr. T?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Okay, so we have Wahiba Belakhuoa, and she is a higher education professional who has served Tarrant County College for over 7 years and helped shape the implementation of various campus projects and initiatives while providing high quality service. Her current role with the college is to manage the American Association of Community Colleges Expanding Community Colleges Apprenticeship grant. As as part of the AACCECCA initiative, Wahiba's charge is to create and expand registered apprenticeship opportunities for TCC students and Tarrant County employers. Now, for those business owners who will be watching, you definitely want to pay attention and get your pens ready. And I hope Wahiba shares her information at the end of this, because there's so much she has to share that I think small business owners need to hear if you're in Tarrant County. So with that, Wahiba, I'm gonna let Dr. T take over that slide and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Labaf. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today to talk about TCC Registered Apprenticeship Program. I'll let you know that my PowerPoint contains pretty much pretty straightforward information. Thus, I'll try to go a little fast and not detailing each slide to make sure I do not exceed the 10 minutes. I tend to talk a lot, but that's where what the Q&A is for. So next slide, please. Next one. So what is a registered apprenticeship? This is an important question because there is a difference between an apprenticeship and a registered apprenticeship. A registered apprenticeship is basically a program overseen by the US Department of Labor. That means it is registered with the Department of Labor. This is an important information because when I get to the benefit of this apprenticeship, you're going to see why having the apprenticeship registered with the Department of Labor is crucial. So what is an apprenticeship in general? An apprenticeship is basically an industry-driven program that trains a worker to become skilled in a particular trade. Apprenticeship combines on-the-job work, on-the-job training, and classroom learning. You're going to hear me throughout the presentation refer to the on-the-job learning or training as OJT, and for the classroom instruction as RTI, means related technical instruction. The apprenticeship are considered high-quality career pathways. Why? Because employers develop and prepare their future workforce. The apprenticeships are customized to the employer's needs. Their motto is earn while you learn. This is important for the apprentice, for the potential students who are going to be apprentices, because they're going to be making money while also learning at school. As I said, there is on-the-job portion of it and then the classroom portion of it. Let me tell you something. US companies are discovering that registered apprenticeship programs offer a proven solution for recruiting and retaining world-class talent. You don't want to let go of your employees after you train them. You want to keep them. An apprenticeship program is the best pathway, the newest pathway that has been pushed by the Department of Labor. Now, it is important to also know that almost any occupation is apprenticeable. I have a list from the Department of Labor of over 1,600 occupation titles, but we can add more. So when you work with me as an employer to come up with the possible apprenticeship program, if we don't find something, we're gonna create something and basically submit it to the Department of Labor. And apprentices can be either new hires or current employees. It's you, the employer, who decide who you're going to hire for that position. Next slide, please. This is an important slide because you either, as an employer or a student, you need to know the 5 core components of every registered apprenticeship. The 2 of them I've already talked about, which is number 2 and 3, which is the OJT and the RTI. The number one is you, the employer. You, the employer, you are the foundation of every registered apprenticeship because you provide 2 main things, which is the on-the-job training and then the wages to those apprentices. The second one, as I mentioned, it's the on-the-job training. Every apprenticeship is going to have a minimum of 2,000 hours, equaling a 1 year. That means every apprenticeship program has to be at least 1 year long. And then there is a related technical instruction. The classroom instruction has to be a minimum of 144. All of that is going to depend on the occupation, and there is a difference in time for each one of them. The 4th one is the reward for skill gains. Here is very important because I'm going to talk in a little bit about the wage increase. So that means for every new skill the apprentice gain is going to have a wage increase, and that wage increase is going to depend on you, the employer, when we work on this together, we're going to decide when that wage increase is going to be. And the wage increase is not going to be big, like it may be 50 cents, it may be $1. Again, it all depends on you, the employer. The fifth one, which is very important, and this is why I said there is a difference between an apprenticeship and a registered apprenticeship, is that because it is a registered apprenticeship, at the end, when you complete the apprenticeship program, the apprentice is going to earn a national certification from the Department of Labor. And that certification, you can take it anywhere throughout the country and work with it if for some reason you get to move to another state or anything else. Next slide, please. The players in every, and this is mainly for you, the employer, that there are three main players in every registered apprenticeship. The sponsor, which in this case is going to be us, TCC, and it is the entity who's going to take care of all the paperwork, all the communication, and all the work, all the behind the scene. Before the apprenticeship, during the apprenticeship, and after the apprenticeship. There is a lot of work in each of those stages. I'm not going to go into details in this so that for the sake of time, but that's what it is, the sponsor. The employer, of course, the one that I just talked about, that you're going to be the foundation because you're going to be providing the OJT and the wages, and then the RTI provider. Again, in this instance, it's going to be Tarrant County College, which means the entity, the educational entity that's going to be providing that academic courses that will go along with the OJT part. Next. So why become an apprentice? We want you to become an apprentice because we want you to jumpstart your future. We want you to improve your skills and learn from the professional. We want you to build your career through apprenticeship because you're going to obtain paid work experience. You're going to obtain classroom instruction, and you're going to earn a nationally recognized credential at the end. These are some of the benefits. There are plenty of other benefits, but when you think about it, that is the difference between an apprenticeship and an internship. Again, there is a slide regarding that, but just keep that in mind. So basically, we want you to jumpstart your future. Next. So a lot of questions that usually people ask, how long does apprenticeship last? As I mentioned earlier, the minimum has to be a 1 year long apprenticeship. Dependent on the occupation, the employer, along with me and the Department of Labor representative, we're going to decide on how long that apprenticeship is going to be. So usually there is the minimum, the 1 year, and it can go up to 6 years. So again, it's all you, the employer, on how you decide that. That's why I keep saying this over and over. The apprenticeship is customized to the business needs. Next. How much do apprentices earn? All of that usually depend on the employer and the occupation. The occupation is going to basically depend on what the Department of Labor has approved as potential apprenticeable occupation. And then from that, the starting wage is going to basically be based on the median that the Department of Labor approves. As an employee, yes, you can suggest different number, but we always going to advise you don't want to start too low because you want also this occupation to be attractive to the potential applicant. So that's how basically how much you're going to earn. The good thing about how much you're going to earn as an apprentice, remember when I talked about the wage increase, that wage increase is going to be crucial because if it's a 1 year long, so maybe the employer is going to decide every three months there is going to be a 50 cents increase. If it's 6 years, the employer can decide every year there's going to be a wage increase. And that wage increase can be very attractive dependent on the employer, basically. Next. That is just an example of how the wage schedule increase is going to be. So just to go a little bit quick. So for this example, it's a medical assistant apprenticeship. So the ending wage is going to be $38. But since this is a 3 year long, so every 6 months, the employer decided that they're going to have a 10% increase. So the first time that the first starting wage is going to be 50% of that $38, which is $19. And then every 6 months, as long as that apprentice has attained those new skills. So you, the employer, dependent on your evaluation format, your evaluation mean, you're going to determine if that apprentice is going to earn that 10% increase or not. Next. Benefit for students. As I mentioned before, the main thing is you're going to earn while you learn. And when you do that, you're going to decrease your debt. The other thing is you're going to also improve your resume, improve your experiences, and improve your employability. You are improving also your network circle. So the main benefit, like I said, is you are making money as you are going to school. At the same time, you're going to earn that certificate from the Department of Labor. And listen to this, you also might earn another certificate from the college, because that RTI portion of it, those courses are part of a certificate. So maybe at the end of it, you are just one course away from earning a certificate, a level 1 certificate. Or maybe you're going to earn a certificate at the same time, because when we built this apprenticeship with the employer decided, yeah, why not? Let me add this. So let me ask them to take all 6 courses instead of just 4. So there's all these potential for you as a student. Next. So how is apprenticeship different from an internship? Very important. Apprenticeship is a work. It is a full-time job since day one. You earn a wage since day one. We all know that internships can be 6 months, 3 months, but you're not really guaranteed that you're going to be working at that employer. For the apprenticeship, the employer is already investing in you. And when an employer is investing in an employee, that means they have they see a future with that employee. So that is what's different between an apprenticeship and internship. And again, also all the benefits that I just mentioned in my previous slide. Next. Benefit to employers. Employers also, you always wonder, so what is it in it for me? For me, you're telling me this is just another employee that I'm going to hire. No, there is a difference. This is an employee that you're going to train to your needs. We all know that employer want highly skilled workers committed to their company's success. So this apprenticeship, we are going to provide it by customizing that training to meet your needs. And when the training is customized to meet your needs, that employee, that apprentice is not learning stuff that he or she is not going to use in the future. They're going to learn what you want them to learn. They're going to focus on the skills that you want them to learn. The other benefit is the transfer of knowledge. What I mean by that is that when they do the on-the-job learning, they're going to do it through a mentorship. There's going to be a journey worker that's going to work directly with that apprentice, and that journey worker is going to transfer those experiences from their heads to the apprentice's heads, basically. So, and again, all of that is with the support with the related technical instruction. All of this, what's going to do? It's going to reduce turnover. It's going to reduce turnover by enhancing employee retention. According to the Department of Labor, 91% of apprentices that complete apprenticeship program are still employed 9 months later. Why? Because the employers want to retain those employees. And then I can go on with the rest, but you all can read. So next. So for you as an employer, for every apprenticeship that we're going to work together, if you decide to do this, there is going to be standards. The standards are going to contain the work process schedule, and this is a document that basically outline all the terms of the apprenticeship, what the skills, the tasks and skills that they're going to learn on the OJT, the courses that they're going to take, along with an agreement for you, the employer, to sign, and also an agreement for the apprentice to sign, so that each one of you know what they're getting themselves into, what is expected of them, and what is basically what they're going to earn at the end of this. What is the goal of this? Next. There are this is also directed to the employers. There are 3 different approaches when we build an apprenticeship. There is a time-based, competency-based, and hybrid. Time-based is basically self-explained. Basically, there is a time limit. There's going to be a time set for the apprenticeship. Let's say it's a 1 year or 2 years. The competency-based, it's going to be based on the skills, and it's going to be competency-based. So you, the employer, decide when the apprentice can take the test, or like whatever term mean of evaluation you use. And then hybrid is a combination of 2. Again, we can go all in details about this, where in a different maybe presentation, just focused on you, the employer. Next. So what is my role here? So this slide and next slide, basically my role as a coordinator of apprenticeship at Tarrant County College. So I work with you as a potential apprentice, as a potential employer, industry, faculty and staff who work with apprentices, also as with current apprentices that are already in an apprenticeship program. And basically we provide you the step-by-step process to build an apprenticeship if you are an employer, to join an apprenticeship program if you are a student thinking to be part of this basically pathway. Next. And also next, basically, those are the same. So any question? I know I have a lot of questions that other people asked me before. But I'll let you ask me these questions if you have any.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wahiba. What a great presentation and such a great opportunity for small business owners and bigger companies too. There are a lot of companies that are taking advantage of this. And are there any questions that you have for Wahiba? Put them in the chat box if you have them. Just to let you know, I'm going down this route, and we are really excited about starting an apprenticeship with our program. It's a great opportunity. Yes, Dr. T, he says, how can employers in Fort Worth get connected with you?
So great. So we have first on our TCC website, there is a web page dedicated for the apprenticeship. So if anybody, I mean, I did put the link to that web page in my PowerPoint. At the same time, at the TCC web page, if anybody type in the search box apprenticeship, my page will come up, and then in that page there is also a couple child pages, one dedicated for potential apprentices, students, and one dedicated for employers. And it's got also my contact information.
It sure does. And Shirley Staten asks, do you help companies with the screening of candidates for each program to make sure they are a good fit?
That is a good question too. Yeah, we can, but we basically want you to the employer to decide on who the employees you want them to be. But at the same time, let me tell you something. If an apprentice, if a potential student come to me and they want to be an apprentice, we basically always advise them to have some experience prior experience in that occupation, or some college experience. Why? Because their college experience, their college performance will tell us if that person is going to be really committed to this. This is a big commitment. So we don't want to bring you just somebody like from the street, and we do not know anything from that person. We will advise you as an employer, hey, it's better for you to when you post a job, to ask for some either, I mean, it's up to you, either some experience in the occupation or some college experience, because that college experience is a big factor in deciding whether this person is going to be able to do it or not. But we can certainly help with the screening if you decide, if you want us to do that. I know with other employers, we have helped a lot in every single step, from job posting, from description of job, from job shadowing. There's a lot of ways that we can help you select the correct potential apprentices.
Awesome. Thank you, Wahiba, for that information. And definitely, Wahiba, if you can, drop your contact information, because we took it off the screen, but drop that contact information in the chat box for for those of, I know that Shirley probably wants to ask some more questions, but thank you so much for giving that presentation. And I hope a lot of people take advantage of it. I'm definitely going to be telling everyone I can that I think is going to be a good fit for that. So I'm going to be helping to spread the news.
Great.
So, so with that, I'm going to go into really quickly some of the things that I want you guys to be aware of, some updates. So I'm going to play this video. Hope you can hear it. So that is a teaser for Activate Purposes pitch competition coming up in late April. I believe the date is going to be April 1st and April 31st or April 30th. I'll have to check back with you, but it's the end of April into May. And it's going to be a pitch competition, cash prizes. I know that we're choosing 5 winners. I want the Toronet students to be a part of it. It's a great opportunity to learn how to create a professional pitch. There'll be cash prizes, but we're also bringing in more sponsors. So be looking for that. We'll keep you updated and we'll share the website when it becomes available. But you can also look on Facebook to find out more about Activate Purpose. So just a quick update, the website is being built. It should be done next week. So there'll be a formal website with blog posts, job postings, and resources right there on the site. I also have Clubhouse invites if anybody needs it. There we get into a lot of discussions around breaking into tech. Jared Albatron, who's one of our contributors that gives us information, he's always hosting rooms with recruiters, talking about job availabilities, apprenticeships, and any other opportunities. So if you need a Clubhouse invite, let me know. I would definitely love to give you one. Here's some hot job posting. Here's who's hiring. Adobe is hiring for various openings. Carlita Moreau, she's on LinkedIn. She's the person to contact about those postings. Visa is hiring in various positions. The email right there is the email that you actually would want to send your resume to. That's directly to the recruiter. And then Uber has various tech positions, and you would contact Brittany Lundy, who's also on LinkedIn. And just to let you know, anytime I talk about a job posting, the recruiter that I'm telling you to reach out to is a person who's dedicated to hiring minorities into these positions. So they've let it be known that they are trying to bring diversity into those spaces. So these are also great people just to get to know and to expand your network. And an additional resource, a lot of folks that are trying to break into tech, they don't know where to start. But here are some. We have a list, a huge list of different places you can get certifications, Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, and IBM. With Microsoft, you can earn your certifications that show you're keeping a pace with today's technical roles and requirements. AWS, you could take a free virtual readiness webinar so it can let you know where you are before you take the exams and prepare for a cloud practitioner certification. With Cisco, the certifications are ranging from entry level to expert to specialist to architect. So they really take you from very limited knowledge all the way up to expert. So that's perfect. And then with IBM, you can get certified and learn how to get the most out of your certification because they teach you afterwards how to leverage your certification to put yourself out there. Now, next week, we're going to have Mohammed Yaqub. He's going to be speaking on the top 5 jobs for a career in tech, but specifically marketing technology. So you don't want to miss that. Does anyone have any comments or questions before we leave? Any comments or questions? All right. If not, make sure that you join our Facebook group if you haven't, and let people know that we do have one. We are posting resources there throughout the week, and to follow us on social media here. And if there's anything that we can do for you, that you know, we're a collection of tech mentors and specialists. So if you need help, definitely reach out to us at the above email, and just email your questions and we'll try to best direct you to the best person in our network to answer it. I want to leave you all with a quote before we go, and that is, the future isn't a place that we're going to, it's a place that you get to create. And that's from Nancy Duarte, the CEO of the tech company Duarte. And that is something that we are all about. We want to teach people how to create their own futures in tech, not wait for those opportunities to come, but to reach out and grab them for yourselves. So everyone, I want to thank you for coming for Toronet. I'm going to post and send you the link to the recording soon, and you can share it everywhere. Thank you, Wahiba and Dr. T. You all have a great rest of your weekend, and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.